Hello everyone. Welcome to Paper Happinicity with Monica. My name is Monica Formosa and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the Wide Bay area in Queensland, Australia. Today I am doing a video for Colour Inspiration Challenge 178. We've got these beautiful soft, very complementary colours, and our guest designers, we've got two this challenge. Our guest designers for this challenge is Jeanette and Yvonne. Okay, they are amazing creators, so please do go and look them up, yeah, go check them out. Okay, so for Colour Inspirations, you actually don't need to have a blog, so you're more than welcome to join us anytime you like. You will need to answer some questions if you join our group, but that's just for our or everyone's safety, really, to say you are who you are. So if you're inspired by what I create today, please do go and you're more than welcome to join us, and along with the colors of the challenge, you're also allowed to add your metallics, like your gold, your silver, your copper, bronze, if that's your thing, and you're allowed to use neutrals to some degree, you know, black and white, grey granite, those types of colors. So okay, so that's the challenge that we have this week, and they run every fortnight. So it's the second and fourth Wednesday of every month, and they run for about, I think it's 10 days. So they drop on a Wednesday and they'll go through to the Monday of the second week, and then they close off on the Monday. This is Australian time, of course. They will close on the Monday night. We announce the winners, and if you're in the top 5 and the winner, so we pick 6. We have a winner and a top 5, and then the winner gets to be our guest designer for a future challenge. Okay, so this is my card today. I've done a little bit of watercolouring, and believe it or not, I've only used 2 colours for my watercolouring, and that's the soft sea foam and the old olive. But when you watercolour, the beauty about watercolouring is that you can get all the colours in between plus a few more. Okay, so this is what I've done. We've got a soft sea foam card base. This has been painted onto the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, which is a beautiful, nice, thick, sturdy cotton-based watercolor paper. And then I've stamped my sentiment across the bottom. It's probably not the straightest, but I wanted to kind of have it there underneath the tree. And for the purpose of this challenge, my streamers, my baubles, are the Calypso Coral. But you know, when you go and recreate yours, you can use whatever color you like, even something out of the glitter paper. And I have added a little bit of Wink of Stella on there, but it's really hard to pick that up on the video. But yeah, so there we have it. Nice, clean and simple design. I haven't put any other embellishments on there. I just wanted to make the tree the focus of my card. And when I create my card fronts, I like to actually bring my layers in just that little bit more than the usual 1/4 inch or centimetre or 1/2 centimetre, whatever you use, centimetres or inches. But anyway, so all right, okay, so going through the bits and bobs that you will need. I have a card base. I have a piece for the inside, and that's just been cut down to a 1/4 inch smaller on 2 sides, and that will be glued on the inside of the card. I've got a piece of watercolor paper. Now, the watercolor paper comes in sheets, and I've just cut one in half, and I'm going to use that. I also remembered that I need to have a piece of, and I don't have it with me. Let me just get a piece of old olive, and I will cut that down right now. I thought I had everything organized, but of course I don't. And this is just a scrap piece, so I'm going to just trim this down too, so it's a little bit neater on all four sides. So this measures, the watercolor measures 3.5 by 5, so I'm just going to go up 1/8 of an inch. An 1/8 of an inch larger on two sides, and that will just give me this teeny tiny border. I'll just double check to make sure that that is 5. Yep, so I've gone up 5 1/8 and 3 5/8. Okay, so there we have that, and that will just mat onto there nice and easy, and then that will go onto the front like so. All right, just let me take all that away. I don't really need that, and I'll put my paper trimmer over here in case I need it again. You'll need a scrap of, let me bring my card in, a scrap of Calypso coral for your streamers or your baubles, and a strip of old olive. I'll get it in a minute. Old olive for the inside, because what I've done here is I've added a strip water, just as you can see here, I've just really quickly watercolored a strip, a scrap of the watercolor paper, and I'll cut that down, mount it onto the piece of old olive and put that into the middle. It's just so the design will also be added into the center of the card, so it's not blank. Okay, so we've got that. What I've also done a little bit beforehand is, oh no, hang on, wait a minute. Before I start on that, I've also got some masking tape. Now, I've just bought this from the hardware store. So you can use whatever you've got in your stash. Having it a little bit thicker, I don't suggest washi tape, but having a little bit thicker is probably a better idea because of what we do. I need probably not my Calypso coral ink, but I've got my old olive, we'll be using that, and the soft sea foam, we'll be using that. So I've got that right in front of me, and my tape. Okay, I'm using the large, what is this, the F block, the large F block as a palette. If you have the glass mat or any other non-porous surface, you can use whatever you have in hand. So we need that. We'll be adding our ink to that and using that as our palette. I've got my INKspiration pen. I've also got a pencil here to mark my watercolor paper, because we'll get into that in a moment. And I have my stamp apparatus with my stamp set up to, because I'm stamping directly onto my card front, I want to make sure that it's straight. And if I need to restamp, because it is a little bit like the watercolor paper, it has got a little bit of texture to it, so you need to, if you need to restamp, you need to be able to do that. Okay, so for my original card, I used, what did I use out of this? No, for my original card, I used May Your Days Be Merry from the Decorative Trees. If you only have this stamp set, or if you only have this bundle, this also in the dies, there is also these dies here, which you can use, which is what I've done for this time around. All right, so I'm using the one bundle. In my original card, I've used this stamp because it fitted well across the bottom of my tree, but I used these dies for my baubles, for my streamers. Okay. But you can use whatever you like. Feel free to add a star to the top, but I just wanted to keep mine reasonably simple. All right, so that's your choices. Merriest Trees bundle or your Decorative Trees bundle. Either will work really well. Okay. All right, so I've got that set up. I'm not using the Stampin' Up! Water painters today. I've got a flat brush that I've had in my stash from my folk art painting days. All right, so I'm using that because it's just a little bit narrower than the, oh, let me see if I can find the brush. Is it here? It's just somewhere. Yeah, I kind of felt that this was just a little bit too wide, which is why I went to something a little bit narrower. My Stamparatus, my block. I've also got a piece of paper towel, which I like to have with me when I watercolor. And I've got a glass of water. All right, and I prefer to watercolor that way than having water in my water painters because I feel I can control that water just a little bit easier. Okay, all right, so there's my card. I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to see that, and I might just actually slip this into a clear bag just so I protect that. I just a bit worried that it might get a little bit messed up. All right, so we might start with, I do need my paper trimmer. So I'm going to trim off, and all I've done here is just using the paint that I had, or the watercolor that I had left over. I just used that to create a little bit of a strip. And I'm going to add trim this down, and we'll just, oops, glue this onto here. I think I just had it all on one side in my original card, but we'll just do this a little bit different today. And obviously, oh, that's not cut straight, which is not cut straight. Let me cut that again. Oh, of course. Is that going to fit on there? No. Let's see if I can get this straight. And we'll just glue this on. Can't stick it on straight now. Okay. Where's the middle of my card? And I really need to have my mat, and underneath I've got my silicone mat here, just so I don't get glue all over my grid paper so early. All right, so I'm just going to stick that on there like that. I'll turn that over. Oops, that's not the ones I want. My snips, and I'll just trim them off. We will add a little bit of glue to the back, and we will put that onto the inside of our card. And that's the inside done. And that just gets rid of a little bit of my bits and pieces here beside me. All right, that can go away. All right, we need this. Okay, now to do our watercolouring, what I like to do, or what I did, is find the center using my grid paper, because the grid paper you're able to find the center, and I'm just going to get my pencil and I'm just going to mark my corners roughly. Okay, and this one. This is just for me. You can do it. You don't have to be so pedantic. All right, so because I'm a bit wary about my paper, my tape lifting off the paper, what I'm going to do is I've just literally put it onto my shirt, detacked it just a little bit, and I'm going up an inch using my grid paper, and we're just going to go across here. Now we have to make sure that that is stuck down quite well. And once again, I'm using my grid paper, going up roughly ½ an inch in, and I'm making a line, ½ an inch in using my grid paper and making a line. And also I'm going to go down ½ an inch and making a line. So that's the center. And we'll be able to just take that off, erase that when we're finished. And now I'm going to use my tape and we're going to go from this, where I've marked it here, I'm going to go across to that center point. So once again, I've just, on my shirt, I've just put the tape over onto my shirt, detacked it so it's not so sticky on the back, because the last thing we want to do is go to all this effort and then have our watercolor paper rip as we pull the tape off. Now I'm just making sure that that is stuck down, especially along those edges there, because we want those nice and crisp. Now I'm going to just take that off and work on it this way. But before we do that, we need to create our palette. And to do that, we're going to get our stamp pad. That is probably a little bit too much. Some in one corner. Some in the other. And we're going to get our paintbrush and our glass of water. And just double check those edges, because we don't want them bleeding in underneath. Okay. All right, so we've got our palette, and it's really up to you now. So mix, you can mix, or you can, all right. And then it's just a matter of running your paintbrush. Now what I found is that, I wish I had one here. I worked out that when I'm doing this, Oh, it's not wet enough. But you don't want it too wet. Where's mine? You kind of want it wet, but you don't want it too wet. Otherwise, oh. And I like to come from both sides because I found that what happened, this watercolor paper is quite textured, and sometimes the tape doesn't get down into those little divots and it was bleeding. But if I come from both sides, I found that it wouldn't bleed quite so much, or not at all. All right, so then it's just a matter of then drawing our lines. And ideally what you want to do is leave a little bit of a white space in between them. I'm a little bit nervous because there's a camera recording. And it's just a matter of creating your watercolor lines. Mixing your colors. And then this one I just, okay. All right, so then what you're going to do is try not to get your thumb in it. Put your handle in it. All right, so then what was left over, that's how I created this. I just went and got my, I just went and got my, and literally just like this. All right, and that will give you this effect, which you can then trim down and add to the center of your card. All right, so that's all your watercoloring done. You can either let that dry naturally, or you can use your heat tool. Now, and if you use your heat tool, that will also allow you to soften the glue underneath your tape, and will help lift that tape up. But through the magic of video, here is one I prepared earlier. Okay, and once again, what I've done is I've taken the colors from both sides. Okay, and we're going to now add this to our piece of old olive. And I just love watercoloring, and I just love experimenting with colors like this, because like I said, you're only using the colors of the challenge, but you get all these other colors still within, and you're still within the rules, which is great. Okay, all right, so now it's a matter of gluing these on, and I probably should have used I'm going to use a little bit of INKspiration. Now, if you've got the double-sided, the adhesive sheets, which is our double-sided sticky paper, you can use that. And that way you don't have to use glue. If you don't have that, you can use your tear and tape, and just add strips of tear and tape behind before you die cut. Now, I've just added sticky tape to the back of that just to hold them there while I do my video. I will get my tweezers. My tweezers. Where are you? Here we go. And I might just trim these down just a little. Oops, no, from this end, let's go. Don't need them quite that long, so we can trim them. And I'm going to add just a dot of glue on this side. Come on. I'm a bit worried that I'm going to squeeze it because it's a new bottle, and if I squeeze it too hard, it's just going to come out everywhere. There we go, like I said. All right, I hope that's enough on that end. And then it's just a matter of gluing these on. You might want to fast forward this bit because we really are just not quite sure where to go here. We really don't need it this long. Don't need that. And I like to do 5, which is why I cut out 2 lots. Come on. Oh, this shouldn't be so hard. The tweezers will make it easier. And we'll go this way. Just spread that out a bit because we really don't need all that glue. And we'll go here. And we'll get one more. And we'll use all of this one as well. Now, for you, if you need something that's a little bit more I'm just going to trim that just a little bit. I really don't like that curvy bit. You don't have to do this. You can add your, oh, what? I've got sticky fingers. Glue on my fingers, which makes them all sticky. And I'm just going to add this one to it. Oh, come on. Because I don't like how that one's just sitting there like that. You know, you don't have to do this. You can just add baubles or in... What's in here? You've got bows. Like you could use the bows if you wanted to add bows, or you can just throw on some gems. Let's just add that to there like that. Okay. All right, so there's our tree. Don't really like that as much as the other baubles, to tell you the truth, but it is what it is. If you've only got this set, please use this set. Okay, so there's our, so maybe only doing 4 would have been a better option for that. Okay, but that's okay. So now we're going to do our stamping. Before we go any further, okay, So this is our the old Stamparatus that Stampin' Up used to have. You can use any type of stamp positioning tool for this technique. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I've got a piece of clear plastic here, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto the piece of clear plastic. We don't need that anymore. All right, so our sentiment is there, stamped on our plastic. I'm going to lift up the plastic and just put my cardstock in underneath. I'm going to line it up so it's nice and straight. Make sure that that's up in the corner like it was when I stamped. Make sure that's straight. Lift up my plastic, and I'm just going to put my magnets down. Let me tidy up this mess that's here. Oh, that's better. All right, so we're going to ink up our stamp again, and then very gently bring it down and stamp our card front. All right. There we go. That magnet is not letting it go down. All right, but there we go. There's our card front. I still think it needs more INKstella, believe it or not. It's not sparkly enough, in my opinion. Maybe I should just... All right. There we go. Just a little bit more. Like I said, you could use glitter paper or some other shimmer paper, but for the purpose of this video and this challenge, I've just used the Calypso Coral cardstock and some INKstella, and it's just a matter now of gluing this onto the card front, and your card is done. Now, if you have the decorative trees dies, there's nothing stopping you from doing a whole sheet of stripes and then just die cutting out your tree shape using the dies. That would be another option rather than masking off. Okay, so there's your card. A really nice, clean and simple. Great for the mail because there's no gems or anything. It's nice and flat. You won't have to pay extra for those for the raised bits. If you wanted to do something a little bit more special, you could add a little some dimensionals underneath that matte layer and raise that layer up. But great for the postage, that one. All right, so here's my, there's my original. And I do kind of like these baubles a little bit better than this. But it is what it is. And if you've only got the decorative trees bundle, this will work. And maybe only do four. Do four so you're not having to join up and making it look a bit weird. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate all your time in coming in and viewing my videos, and I really would like a thumbs up if you can manage it, and a comment under the video once it's done. And if you've got any friends that you think might be also inspired by what I've created today, please do share. I'd love for you to do that for me. It's a great way of supporting my little paper craft business without actually having to spend any money. So great. All right. You have a great week. I can't believe that we're, at the end of November. We've got less than a month till Christmas. So, yeah, it's a bit scary, really. All right, guys, bye for now and see you all again soon. Ta-da!